The crystalline chambers of the Galactic Council fell silent as Ambassador Sarah Chen's lifeless body crumpled to the polished floor. The executioner's plasma blade hummed as it retracted, leaving behind the acrid smell of cauterized flesh and the collective shock of 1,000 alien witnesses. High Arbiter Zixthala raised her forearms in ceremonial triumph, her chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber's bioluminescent lights. "Let this serve as a reminder to all lesser species," she declared, her translator rendering her clicks and whistles into the common tongue. "The Galactic Council's authority is absolute. Humanity's petition for membership is hereby rejected, permanently." The assembled delegates from across the galaxy murmured their approval. The Velthari nodded their serpentine heads, while the gaseous ethereals pulsed with satisfied energy. For 5,000 years, the Council had maintained order through strength and fear. No upstart species from the galaxy's outer rim would challenge their supremacy. What they didn't know was that Ambassador Chen carried more than just diplomatic credentials. Embedded in her neural implant was a quantum-entangled transmitter, one that had just sent Earth's leadership a very specific message. Admiral Marcus Webb stood in the war room beneath Colorado's Cheyenne Mountain, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays showing humanity's scattered colonies. The quantum burst had arrived 23 minutes ago, and the room buzzed with grim activity. "Confirmation received, Admiral," reported Colonel Hayes, her voice tight with barely controlled rage. "Ambassador Chen is dead, executed without trial, without warning." Webb's jaw clenched as he studied the tactical displays. 47 human colonies spread across 18 systems, a population of 12 billion souls, all now marked for extermination by the Council's decree. The aliens had made their position clear. Humanity was to be wiped out as an example to other inferior species. "They think we're just another primitive civilization," Webb muttered, his fingers drumming against the command console. "They have no idea what they've done." The truth was, humanity had been preparing for this moment since first contact 12 years ago. While the Council had dismissed them as technologically backward, still using crude fusion drives and kinetic weapons, human scientists had been working in secret. The ambassador's mission had been as much intelligence gathering as diplomacy. "Sir," called out Dr. Elizabeth Reeves from her station, "the Lazarus Protocol is ready for implementation." Webb turned to face the scientist who had led humanity's most classified project. Lazarus, named for the biblical figure who rose from the dead, represented everything the Council believed impossible. They saw humans as a young species, barely capable of interstellar travel. They couldn't fathom that this primitive race had cracked the fundamental codes of reality itself. "Deploy the quantum seeds," Webb ordered. "All targets are authorized." Across the galaxy, dormant devices that had been secretly placed by human exploration ships began to activate. The Council's core worlds, Zixthala Prime, the Velthari homeworld, the ethereal nebula colonies, all unknowingly hosted these microscopic infiltrators. The quantum seeds were humanity's masterpiece, devices that existed in a state of quantum superposition until activated. Once triggered, they would systematically dismantle matter at the subatomic level, converting entire planets into expanding clouds of constituent particles. The process was irreversible and undetectable until too late. High Arbiter Zixthala was reviewing execution footage in her private chambers when her personal aide burst through the door. "High Arbiter, the monitoring stations report massive quantum disturbances throughout Council space." Before she could respond, her homeworld star began to flicker. Through the transparent aluminum windows of her tower, she watched in horror as the night sky filled with expanding spheres of brilliant light, each one a dying world. "Impossible," she whispered. "The humans lack the technology for such devastation." Her aide's mandibles clicked frantically. "High Arbiter, incoming transmission from the Terran system. It's coming from everywhere at once." The holographic projector activated, showing Admiral Webb's stern face multiplied across every communication device in Council space. His voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "Citizens of the Galactic Council," Webb began, his words echoing through 1,000 worlds, "you have made a grave error in judgment. You believed humanity was weak because we chose diplomacy over conquest. You mistook our restraint for inability." The quantum seeds continued their work, methodically consuming the Council's infrastructure. Military bases, shipyards, and command centers disappeared into nothingness, leaving their defenders powerless to respond. Ambassador Chen came to you in peace, Webb continued. She offered partnership, mutual advancement, and the sharing of knowledge. You responded with murder. Now you face the consequences of that choice. Zixthala's world began to shake as the quantum seeds reached critical mass. The planet's core was being systematically deconstructed, its binding forces unraveled by technology that shouldn't exist. You called us a lesser species, Webb's image declared as chaos erupted across 1,000 worlds. You believed our youth made us weak. But youth means potential, adaptation, and the willingness to think beyond conventional limits. While you grew complacent in your power, we evolved. The High Arbiter's final moments were spent in stunned realization. The humans hadn't just hidden their true capabilities, they had transcended every expectation of what a species could achieve. Their quantum manipulation technology was millennia beyond anything the Council possessed. As her world dissolved around her, Zixthala understood the terrible truth. Humanity wasn't a primitive species seeking acceptance. They were apex predators who had been showing mercy. Admiral Webb watched the tactical display as the last Council strongholds winked out of existence. In less than 6 hours, 5,000 years of galactic tyranny had ended. The species that had ruled through fear and oppression were gone, leaving behind only empty space and scattered debris. It's done, Colonel Hayes reported quietly. All primary targets eliminated. No survivors detected. Webb nodded grimly. Send word to our colonies. The galaxy is free. Begin implementing the reconstruction protocols. Humanity would rebuild what they had destroyed, but on their own terms. Never again would they bow to those who mistook compassion for weakness. Ambassador Chen's death had taught them a valuable lesson. Sometimes the only way to ensure peace was to demonstrate the absolute futility of war. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter that day, as if celebrating the end of an era and the dawn of something new. Humanity had declared its place in the galaxy, not as supplicants seeking approval but as the inheritors of cosmic destiny itself.